Now let's try to create some line charts and replicate these two charts with the population trend and urban population trends here. First, like before, let's move it around and insert a chart. Here, we'll select a line chart and just plug it in. Let's see when it appears, and we know how the data should be structured. So here on the x-axis we have years, and these are going into the A column, into the first column. So when we paste our data, we should try to make sure this is what happens. Here is our year data. We just select everything here, and here you can already start ordering the data. This is what I did. It starts with 1950, so a little less than 100 years ago. And since our chart will go from left to right, here's where our 1950 is going to be, and here's where our 2020 will be. So this is how we're going to move, and this is the order that we want in our chart. You can change it in the chart by reversing the axis afterwards, but it's much easier to do it here, and since we can, why don't we? Let's paste our data into the pop-up box here and adjust the area that we care about. Remove everything that is unnecessary, and there we have our chart we already started. Let's adjust the size right away and start working from top to bottom. Change the headline on the slide. Let's type population urbanization trend. That's a complicated sentence or headline. And let's make it bold right away. Now let's start working with the axis. Here we have everything on one axis, but in reality, one of our lines is the population in billion and the other one is percentage. So really we need two axes. In our example chart, billion go into the secondary axis, so let's make this happen. We select word population, right click on it and select change the series chart. Here we just need to tick secondary axis box, and there we have it. Now here we have our billion and here we have our percentages. But actually it's not in percentage format. You can change it by playing with the axis type, or you can just go right back into your data by right-clicking and selecting editing the data, and select here, just like in Excel, right-clicking, selecting formatting cells and selecting percentage with no points after comma for now. Now back to our chart, you see it's already adjusted. Here we can keep the axis like this or adjust it to maximum 100%. Let's adjust it to maximum 100%, and while I'm doing it, you already probably know how, make sure to watch these lines. Let's change it to 1 as a maximum, which is 100%, and look at that, the trend changed. And this is exactly why you should be very careful with your axis, be it secondary or all at once. That the picture can change, or the picture will have a stronger or weaker story to tell depending on how you adjust your axis. Let's stay here for 100% and let's adjust here for 10 billion, and this is where we're probably going to be by 2050 if we survive. Let's add it to 10. It might be not a great comparison, but based on this, and this is how I'm playing with the data, suddenly the population grows faster than urbanization happens. Whether it's true or so, you need to have good arguments and make sure that your axes are adjusted logically so that everything in between actually makes sense. Once we're on the axis, and since we're already here, let's add the names to our axis. To the design button, add the element, Let's start with the secondary axis. Here it is, and in our example chart it's called population, billion. And jumping to the primary axis, again adding an element, adding an axis title, primary vertical axis is called urban population. Done. Now let's move the legend where it belongs in this chart. Really, where you put the legend is up to you. It just needs to be visible but not too distracting. So if I want to know what those are, I need to see it right away, but it shouldn't interfere with the rest of the chart. Let's move this one a bit lower and this one here as well. Adjust the legend again, and it looks like this chart is already actually done. Let's enlarge this one and quickly compare. To me, it looks very similar, so I think we're done with this one. Now let's create the second one. We can, of course, start over, but really we don't need to. And in reality, you will never create two charts for your presentation that show the exact same thing. You will play around, try different versions, and then select one that you like the most. But for the sake of this, let's create another one. We're not going to start from scratch. Just copy this one and paste it right here. Now, all we need to do is change our word population so that it looks like this kind of triangular trapezoid thingy here, an area really. What we need to do is select our word population, right click on it, select change series type and select a different type of a chart. You can go with bars or you can go with area like I did here. And there we have it. You have it in the preview. If you don't like it, you can keep shopping in different chart forms. But it seems okay, and that's what we were going for. So here is our final chart. One click and it already shows a picture in a different way. Seems to be all that we have. All done. Charts are ready.